The cough is a wet, tearing sound. A rattle of stones in a hollow gourd. Kale lies on the furs. His skin a patchwork of fever-sweat and grey dust. His breath hitches. Each one a shallow victory against the fluid filling his lungs. He is the fifth to be taken by the blight in as many moon-cycles. The river clan shrinks, its strength draining into the thirsty earth of the dry season. Inora, the shaman, presses a cool, damp cloth to his forehead. Her own hands tremble, not from age, but from the weariness of watching her people die. The poultices of crushed river root do nothing. The smoke from the sacred silver leaf only makes the coughing worse. This is a sickness beyond her knowledge, a shadow that has fallen over their small pocket of prehistoric life. She looks out from the cave mouth, her gaze sweeping past the familiar. Sun baked acacia trees in the dry gulch that was once a flowing stream. Her eyes, sharp and accustomed to tracking the faintest signs, fix on the horizon. There, like a slow moving mountain range, the great herd moves, the long necks. The earth shakers, a procession of Brachiosaurus, their heads swaying gently among the highest branches of the ironwood trees, their passage marked by a constant, low frequency tremor that travels through the bedrock. A hum felt more in the bones than heard with the ears. To the clown, they are gods of flesh and bone, indifferent, titanic forces of nature to be avoided at all costs. Their path is one of utter destruction, a swath of flattened forest and pulverized earth left in their wake. They are not food. They are not enemies. They are simply a fact of this ancient earth, like the sun and the storms. But Alora remembers, a memory from her childhood, a story from her grandmother, a wounded glypt odon, its shell cracked and festering, crawling into the still steaming footprint of a great sauropod chewing at something growing within the compressed mud, a faint, blue glowing moss. She had dismissed it then as a fever dream, a tale for children, but now, with the blight consuming them, the memory returns with the force of a prophecy. Her study of the world, a primitive form of ethnobating, has taught her that nature often hides its cures in the most dangerous of places. The heat, the immense pressure, the unique dung fertilized soil, perhaps they create something found nowhere else. It is a desperate, insane thought. The footprints of a Brachiosaurus are death bits, 20 feet across, capable of swallowing a hunter whole. The herd itself is a moving earthquake, and what's more, it attracts shadows the lean, hungry forms of Allosaurus that trail the giants, waiting for the old, the sick, or the foolish to be separated. Yet, as Kale lets out another agonizing gasp, the insanity of the idea begins to look like the only form of logic left. These early humans face a choice born of desperation. The sickness is a slow, patient predator. The herd is a swift, final one. The choice is between a certain end and a slim, terrifying chance. She rises, her knuckles white as she grips her staff of polished bone. She must make the elders see. The clan's lifeblood is not in the stagnant pools of the dying river, but in the heart of the thunder that walks. The elders listen, their faces carved from stone and doubt. The air in the great cave was thick with the scent of sickness and fear. Biola, the clan's lead hunter, scoffs, his hand resting on the haft of a spear tipped with a sharpened tooth. You would have us walk into the giant's graveyard, shaman, for a miss. A child's tale. He gestures with his chin toward the sick. Their graves are here. We do not need to seek them in the mud. But Alora's gaze does not waver. Their graves are certain here. Biola, she says, her voice slow but carrying a weight that silences him. Out there, in the Titan's wake, there is a chance. It is the only one we have left. She speaks in the rhythms of the world, of the way life and death are often intertwined. The debate is short and brutal, fueled by the ragged coughing from the shadows. Desperation is a powerful argument. In the end, 3 agree to go. Boyen, the fastest and quietest of the young hunters, Lyra, Elara is apprentice, her hands small but steady, and Biora himself, his disbelief warring with his duty. He will not send others to a death he will not face himself. Their tools are meager, a testament to the harsh ingenuity that defines their hominid history. Spears and scrapers born of osteodontochoretic technology, dinosaur bone and tooth home to a deadly edge. They leave at dawn. The ground begins to tremble long before they see the herd. A deep, resonant drumming that vibrates up through the soles of their feet. The air grows heavy, thick with the smell of crushed vegetation, ammonia, and the musky scent of reptile skin. This is the entrance to a different, more prehistoric world. The landscape is a nightmare of churned earth. Trees lie splintered and flattened, and the ground is a chaotic tapestry of colossal footprints, each a deep bowl of compressed mud and stagnant water. The scale is impossible to comprehend. These are the tracks of living mountains. The party moves with the practiced stealth of all ancient humans who wish to see another sunrise, flitting from the cover of one shattered tree trunk to the next, their eyes scanning not just the ground ahead, but the sky above and the shadows all around. A single misstep, a moment of inattention, could mean being swallowed by the mud or crushed by a foot the size of their entire cave. They find one, a fresh track, steam still rising from its depths, the mud inside glistening and dark. Under, clinging to the sheer earthen walls, is a faint, ethereal blue glow. The moss, it's real, sharp and painful, pierces the fear. But, as Owen prepares a rope of woven vine, Biora holds up a hand, his nostrils flared. He points with his spear, 200 paces away. Half mine is hidden by a fallen cycad. A predator watches the herd. Its massive head, crowned with bony ridges, swivels slowly, an Allosaurus. And then another emerges from the foliage beside it. The scavengers, the shadows of the giants, are here. The clan's survival skills scream that this is a trap. But behind them lies the blight. There is no retreat. Lyra, you are the lightest. Elara, you will guide her. Biora whispers, his voice a dry rasp. Go in, rest mate. We will give them something else to hunt. It is not a plan born of courage, but of grim necessity. A profound, instinctual act of altruism rooted in the knowledge that the clan is more than the individual. Biora and Dorian break cover, running low and fast, trying to draw the predator's attention without presenting themselves as an easy meal. One of the carnivores turns, its great eye fixing on the fleeting movement. It lets out a low, guttural hiss and begins eloping, predatory stride in their direction. The world narrows to the slick, dark walls of the footprint. Lyra descends, her small hands gripping the vine rope as Elara anchors it from above, her feet finding precarious holds in the compressed earth. The air within the crater is warm and humid, smelling of decay and creation. The blue glow of the moss is hypnotic, an impossible starfield born from mud and titan dung. With a scraper made from a shard of Ankylos or a stale club, she begins to carefully peel the glowing fungus from the wall, packing it into a treated gut-skin pouch. Every sound from outside the pit is magnified: the grinding of a great sauropod's stomach, the distant tearing of leaves, and a sudden, sharp cry of agony that cuts through the air. Elara flinches, her knuckles white on the vine, but her voice is as steady as granite when she calls down, "Faster, child." They both know what the sound was. Biora has paid the price. They are living on borrowed heartbeats. Oyen runs. He does not remember the Allosaurus' teeth grazing his shoulder, only the terrifying image of Biora turning to face the beast, his spear a useless twig against a walking landslide of muscle and teeth. He remembers Boar's final shout, a command to run, to live, to bring the story home. He runs with the shame of the survivor and the grim determination of the messenger. The second predator, distracted by its partner's kill, has given him the chance he needed. He finds Elara and Lyra just as they scramble from the footprint, their precious cargo secure. Lyra is covered in mud and tears, her face a mask of grief and triumph. No words are exchanged. They are a species whose entire hominid history has been written in such brutal transactions. They melt back into the broken landscape, three ghosts haunted by the fourth they left behind. The return is a silent, desperate march. Back in the cave, the blight has weakened its grip on no one. But as Allura grinds the glowing moss with river stones and mixes it into a slurry, a new energy fills the cavern. It is not hope, not yet. It is the raw, visceral will to live. She administers the first dose to Kale, forcing the pungent liquid past his lips. For a day, nothing changes. Then, on the morning of the second day, Kale's breathing is clearer. The fever has not broken, but its rage has lessened. By the fourth day, he sits up. The blight has been turned. The clan survives, but as the sick regain their strength, a new, unsettling reality dawns on them. A truth Allura had understood from the beginning. The cure is not a 1-time prize. It is a moving resource. The moss only grows in the fresh tracks of the living mountains. They have not vanquished a threat. They have tethered their existence to one. Their survival now depends on a dangerous, terrifying symbiosis. They must learn to follow the herd, to read its modes, to anticipate its path, and to dance at the edge of its destructive power, forever harvesting life from the very footsteps of oblivion. The small band of Homo sapiens can no longer remain hidden in their cave. They must become nomads, cautious pilgrims following the indifferent gods whose passage offers both death and salvation. They must learn the ways of the earth-shakers, right down to the hollow, air-filled structure of their pneumatized vertebrae that makes such impossible size a reality, a fact of paleontology that is now the central tenet of their existence. This is how a species learns to think, not in quiet contemplation, but in the crucible of impossible choices. The River Clan's ordeal becomes a story, then a lesson, then an instinct passed down through generations of our human ancestors. The act of following the Brachiosaurus herd, of turning an engine of terror into a mobile apothecary, is a foundational moment in the evolution documentary of the human mind. It is the birth of strategy, of risk assessment, of seeing the world not as a static set of threats, but as a dynamic system of opportunities, however deadly. This is the true challenge of our species. The river that carves the stone to look upon the face of oblivion and see not an end, but an opportunity. We did not survive prehistory by inheriting the earth. We survived by learning to outthink its masters. The raw power of a Tyrannosaurus Rex can shatter bone, but the idea born in the shadow of a sauropod can reshape the future of a world. It is a testament to the fact that the most powerful force in human evolution was never a claw or a tooth, but a flicker of desperate, brilliant defiance in the mind of a creature who refused to die. The age of giants is ending. The age of coming has just begun. But from the depths of the southern swamps, a different kind of hunger is stirring, and the true tyrant of the river has a sail on its back.